This second part of the investigations has taken longer than we had hoped, partly because of the broad scope of our terms of reference, and partly because, as our investigations progressed, we uncovered many more matters of concern than we had originally expected. As we discovered, it is not possible properly to understand the causes of the fire without understanding the way in which knowledge of the materials and methods of construction employed in the refurbishment developed over the course of time, what the government and others learnt about them, and how the regulations and guidance relating to their use developed during the same period. The information obtained in that part of our investigations provided the background to our examination of the refurbishment itself and the various decisions taken in the course of it, particularly in relation to the selection of materials. In addition, it has been necessary for us to examine the way in which fire safety at Grenfell Tower was managed, including the arrangements for fire risk assessments and the response to them, as well as the relationship between the tenant management organisation and the residents of the tower. The firefighting operations of the London Fire Brigade were considered in detail in my first report, but a number of questions relating to organisation and training could not be answered at that stage and were deferred for consideration in Phase 2. Also deferred to Phase 2 were certain questions relating to the development of the fire, including the relative contributions of the different materials used in the cladding. Another important aspect of our terms of reference was to investigate the response of the authorities to the emergency. Finally, but most importantly, it was necessary for us to investigate in as much detail as the evidence would allow the circumstances surrounding the deaths of those who perished in the fire. The report we're publishing today contains our findings on all these and other matters. However, the simple truth is that the deaths that occurred were all avoidable, and those who lived in the tower were badly failed over a number of years and in a number of different ways by those who were responsible for ensuring the safety of the building and its occupants. They include the government, the tenant management organisation, the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, those who manufactured and supplied the materials used in the refurbishment, those who certified their suitability for use on high-rise buildings, the architect, the principal contractor, and some of its subcontractors, in particularly Harley Curtain Wall and its successor Harley Facades, some of the consultants, in particular the fire engineer Exover Warrington Fire, the local authority's building control department, and the London Fire Brigade. Not all of them bear the same degree of responsibility for the eventual disaster, but as our reports show, all contributed to it in one way or another, in most cases through incompetence, but in some cases through dishonesty and greed. The failings can be traced back over many years, and our efforts to get to the bottom of what went wrong and why account for the length of our report and the time it has taken us to produce it. However, if an inquiry of this kind is to produce anything of value, it is necessary for those who can influence the future direction of the construction industry, the fire and rescue services, the management of fire safety in buildings, and resilience planning to understand exactly where mistakes were made and how they can be avoided in the future.